IHPN Sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tomahawk Field at Indian Hill for the Mariemont versus Indian Hill football game. I'm Bob Rode, and with me is Rob Young, and we welcome you to a beautiful Friday night. We've got our neighboring teams playing each other. Great crowd here tonight. Mariemont comes in 3-1, 0-1 in the CHL, and Indian Hill has come out storming forward with a 4-0 record, 1-0 in the CHL. Hey, Rob, last week was an exciting game at Wyoming. Indian Hill went in strong. Close game, but came away with the victory. Some people were surprised at that. Special teams, turnovers played a big role. What do we have in store tonight for Indian Hill and the Warriors?
Well, I think it's going to be a little bit of the same. This is always a tough-fought game. Mariemont always comes in here looking for the win.
Well, we're excited to have a lot of Mariemont's fans here tonight. This is also band night, so some of the younger kids will be out performing. But tonight we're looking for some great performances from the Indian Hill varsity football team, led by Reed Eichels, leading statistically in many categories in the CHL. Mariemont, of course, has a very similar schedule. They will be meeting some of the same teams this year, but this is a big matchup with neighboring schools. Waiting for the kickoff here. Mariemont's going to kick off. Indian Hill will be receiving. Back to kick for the Warriors is Westfall. Receiving the ball for Indian Hill is number 2, Zarian Hunter-Cure. He's taken down at the 15-yard line. Mariemont covers the kick well. Indian Hill will take over at the 15-yard line. Quarterbacking for the Braves, of course, is one of the dynamic duo, the Eichels boys. We have Reed Eichels. And Rob, Reed has had a very steady hand, minimizing turnovers, but stabilizing force, both on the ground and in the air.
Yeah, he's a force to be reckoned with. He can run the ball very well up the middle. He can sweep out to the side and use the option. As he takes the snap here, it's a handoff up the right side. He gets about a 6-yard gain for the Braves.
So Hunter-Cure on the run. He was also the kickoff returner. Hunter-Cure around the right side. This is going to bring up second and about 4 yards.
So the Braves are going with 2 receivers on the short side, 2 receivers split out on the left. Eichels in the shotgun formation with Hunter-Cure in the backfield with him, going into the I formation here. It's a handoff up the middle but to Cure. He's to the 30, down at about the 32-yard line for a first down.
Yeah, fine effort there by Hunter-Cure. He followed his blockers. You know, Rob, we can't say enough about this offensive line for Indian Hill Braves. You know, we talk a lot about some of the playmakers, but both at the wide receiver, quarterback, and running back position, but the offensive line has been very steady, and they've avoided big mistakes by and large.
Yeah, this year it's going to be
I may have spoken too soon there, but by and large in this early season, Indian Hill's line has shown a lot of maturity. They've really made space and given time to Eichels and to Hunter-Cure and to Garrick, and they've really racked up some points.
And that offensive line is anchored by senior center Sitchell, who early in the year last year injured his wrist and missed about 75% of the season. So pass out to the left side. He's going to be dropped for about a 1-yard gain.
So on the reception was Colin Shaw. Colin had a big night last weekend, scoring for the Braves. Another sophomore for Indian Hill, loaded with a lot of youngsters.
You know, last year this team was really, really young, Bob. This year it's still a young team, pretty much anchored by sophomores and juniors. Eichels back for the pass. He keeps it, and he's going to be brought down at about the line of scrimmage. So it'll be third and about 13.
Now, once again, Eichels did not have anything open downfield, but I think he made a smart, wise decision, protecting the ball, getting some at least very slight positive yardage, looking for his senior wide receiver, of course, Nick Heidel.
It's a very different offense than what we saw last year. Very steady, very methodical in their play selections. Eichels back for the pass. Mariemont's in there, and the Braves are going to be about 4th and 10 with 9:40 left in this first period.
So credit the Warriors with good coverage downfield. Eichels did not have an open receiver, covered up, did not want to risk an early turnover. And back to punt will be the Braves, and as I mentioned before, that's Nick Heidel, doing it from many different fronts for the Braves this season again.
At our first home game, Heidel had an injury to his leg that was preventing him from punting. That great bounce for the Braves. This ball is going to go out of bounds at about the 26-yard line.
Nice rugby-style kick for the Braves. So the Mariemont Warriors are going to start off with their first offensive series at about the 26.
You know, Bob, in the last home game opener, the Braves had a hard time stopping Little Miami on the run to the right side. We'll see if they've solved that problem here against Mariemont. Mariemont is a very talented running team. They've got 2 receivers split left, 2 short here on the short side. And he's going to be dropped for about a 3-yard gain.
Rob, leading Mariemont offensively is quarterback Joey Cromer, and he's at the top of the stats for Mariemont, both in passing and also in rushing stats as well. One of his favorite receivers will be Charlie Zach.
Quick pass out, and that ball is intercepted by number 17, Ben Corangle.
You know, Rob, this is one of the things that Indian Hill has had some success this year. They have not been turnover free, but they have definitely won the turnover game. They have been plus on the turnover margin for, I believe, every game this season.
Yeah, Okiri in his second season has definitely made this a very disciplined team, very patient. The defense has greatly improved over last year, and I think that just comes from a lot of patience by the coaching staff and allowing these guys to play last year when they were freshmen and sophomores. Eichels back for the pass. It gets it off. That was a completion to Colin Shaw for about a 18-yard pickup.
And you mentioned poise, and we should give all the credit there to the kids out there. You know, that is great poise, alone in the pocket, no blockers in the backfield, and Reed delivers a bullet right there to Colin Shaw for a nice first down. Back to pass again.
Quick snap, and that ball's tipped. So it's going to be 2nd and 10 for the Braves at about the 25-yard line. I think the Braves have really come out and surprised a lot of people here this year, going 4-0, beating Wyoming at home. If they can pick up this win here against Mariemont, it'll be a very good start to the season. The best start the Braves have had probably in 25 years, Bob.
And again, turnovers were key in that, and as well as some special teams play. Quick pass out to the left. Eichels to, it may have been Eichels to Eichels on that one.
That was a completion to Dawson Eichels for about a 5-yard pickup.
Coming in for the Braves is Nick Garrick into the backfield. Jack Storwald comes off. Reed's in shotgun position again.
Heidel's in motion. Eichels back. Eichels with time. Across the middle, and that pass is missed.
So, Rob, this is 4th down and perhaps about 6 yards. Would you say this is 4th down territory? A little bit of a long field goal. They had great success. That was one of the big differences last week against Wyoming, the field goal by Heidel.
I think early in this game and at home, I think they're going to go for the first down here. With Heidel split out right, Eichelt's back to the shotgun, a rush on, and that's a pass, and it's a completion to number 21, Benjamin Worsel.
Well, just an absolutely spectacular Odell Beckham Jr. type catch by Worthland. That's a highlight if we've ever seen one. So credit Reed and credit Worthland on that fantastic first down conversion.
So we're first and goal at the 9-yard line for the Braves, as the Braves are in scoring drive here, and it's a fake handoff. Eichel's up the middle, and he picks up about 3 yards before he's tripped up.
Once again, we've got 2 wide receivers left, 2 right. 1 man in the backfield. He hands it off. May have struggled for another yard or 2.
And this is going to be spotted at the 2-yard line, so it will be 3rd and goal.
And they're bringing in a little bit more beef here. We've got Dan Becker coming in, Peter Bosworth coming into the game. Look to see what Arcuri draws up for this 3rd and goal play.
Fumble, missed snap. That'll be a turnover on the Braves. So Mariemont takes the ball over on the 18-yard line as the Braves turn the ball over on a bad snap. Not something that we see very often out of the Braves this year.
So Cromer takes over at his own approximately 10-yard line. He's rolling right. He's looking for a receiver. He's got a man in the flats.
And he's going to pick up about 7 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd and 3, Bob. Cromer going for a pass again. This time it's knocked down by number 6.
Dawson Eichels. Good timing by Dawson on that play. He read the quarterback's eyes well.
3rd and about 3 for Mariemont here. As Cromer will line up in the shotgun formation. 3 receivers to the right side, 1 to the left. Snap is off. Cromer's going to keep it and try to make it up, and he is going to be dropped for about a 1-yard loss. It depends on where they spot it.
I think that may have been Marcus Baskin playing extraordinarily strong at the line there. He was not going to be moved, and in fact, they moved, I think, Cromer backwards on that play.
They spotted it at the line of scrimmage, so it'll be 4th and 3 for the Braves with the ball on the 21, and Mariemont's going to punt this away.
Well, good defense by Indian Hill. I mean, credit Mariemont with making the turnover happen, but the Warriors not able to capitalize. So Indian Hill will stand to get the ball back, and back to receive is going to be Nick Heidel.
And Nick is lining up at about the 45-yard line. We have number 1, Dorian Magruder, in the backfield for the Braves.
And folks, if Rob and I have the numbers occasionally wrong, we will not blame our charts, we'll blame our aging eyes.
That is for sure, Bob. We need to find some young eyes to be spotters for us, like the pros.
You know, Rob, if you look at the CHL statistics, you know, we think about Reed Eichels, who's put up some gaudy numbers, but right behind him, really, 2nd place in passing yards is Joey Cromer. There's a big distance between the two, but Cromer has really had some success in the air. He's had a fine early part of his season, and I know the Braves are watching for those quick passes. One of his key statistics is also running the ball. So we saw him take that quarterback sneak on the last series. Did not make a lot of yardage on that, but Cromer's a big part of the offense, whichever way you go.
Yeah, I agree with you, Bob. You know, with Eichelt's, with over 1,000 yards of passing already this year, he's already put up over almost 1,500 yards of offense on his own.
Well, what's impressive also is if you look at the CHL statistical leaders in receiving, we have 3 Indian Hill players at the top.
Yeah. And I think you've got to go back to the Teddy Balzer era before you'd have those kind of receiving numbers out of Indian Hill.
So Mariemont chooses not to kick the ball to Heidel, and they kick it far to the right. It'll go out of bounds on the Warriors sideline, and that'll be not even at midfield, Rob.
They're going to spot it at about the, it looks like about the 43 yard line for the Braves. So the Braves are going to get a third opportunity here. Eichholz and Cura in the backfield. Eichholz keeps the ball, and he's going to be dropped for a loss here.
Warriors defense swarming. You know, at the top of the rankings for Mariemont, Patrick Mileham tops it with 43 tackles this season. So he's one of their surest tacklers and plays a big factor on the defensive side of the ball. That'll bring up 2nd and 10 for Indian Hill.
I think the Braves got lucky there with a good spot of the ball. Eichholz was definitely dropped behind the line of scrimmage there, but they credited him with getting back to the line of scrimmage. And that completion was incomplete. So we were just informed that Patrick Milan, Mariemont's leading tackler, is out for the rest of the season due to injury.
Unfortunate for them, but we wish the best to him.
Eichholz rolls out to the right side. It's a pass down, and that's going to be an incomplete pass. And it's going to be 4th and 10 for the Braves at the 43-yard line.
Rob, looks like they're bringing out the punting team here, and I think this is another chance to try to pin the opposing team deep in the territory. Looks like we'll have Heidel back to punt tonight.
Two weeks ago at the home opener, it's a fake punt, and they're going to turn this ball over on downs at about the 40-yard line.
Taking the ball on that fake was Demetrius Baylor. Mariemont was not fooled on that. They stayed home and played that well. Well, Indian Hill gives Mariemont a bit better field position. We'll see what Cromer can come up with on this series. He's back to pass
with four
again.
Receivers. Ball's up. This is going to be a completion, a long completion.
Remarkable catch by Mariemont.
Indian Hill actually comes up with the ball, but they ruled that as a completion for Mariemont, and the player was down before the ball ended up in the Indian Hill hands. So Cromer shows why he is right behind Eichholz in passing yards for Mariemont in the CHL. With about a 45-yard completion. Cromer rolls out to the right side. He's looking for the open receiver. It's up, and they complete the ball, and he's dropped with about an 8-yard gain as they get into the inside the 20 at about the 19-yard line. So it's going to be 2nd and 3. We'll see if the Braves dogman defense here can stop Mariemont from scoring. Cromer looking to pass. He keeps it that time and runs out, and it's dropped at about the line of scrimmage. So it'll be 3rd and 3 for Mariemont.
You know, Grant Gontainer was not fooled on that one. Very nice tackle to keep Cromer from getting loose and scrambling. So we've got 3rd and short for Mariemont.
You know, one of the things that's impressive about the Indian Hill defense is they're not very big, but they're very athletic, very quick, and they read the ball very well. And we're going to have offsides on Mariemont. They're going to push this ball back. So it'll be 3rd and 8 for Mariemont.
No, they're calling that offside on the defense.
Yeah. Automatic first down. So it'll be on the 14-yard line. It's a mental mistake on Indian Hill. 2 receivers left, 2 receivers right, over the middle, and that ball is incomplete. His intended receiver was number 9 for Mariemont.
Dorian Magruder was on the coverage.
Colin Whitaker.
We're going to try to get a better list of the roster for Mariemont so we have the accurate names. But it's going to be second down for the Warriors. Back to pass. He's looking downfield. He's got a man in the flats.
And
just underthrows him. Back to pass once again. Knocked down at the line. Incomplete pass. That'll bring up 4th down and 10. Looks like they're bringing out a kicking unit for Mariemont. I believe that's Gunnar Nixon. He'll be lining up for the field goal attempt.
For about a 22-yard kick. And he puts it up, and it is through the uprights. No, it's not.
From our perspective, it looked like a fine kick, and they are saying that that was wide. So we've had an interesting change of possession. We had a fake punt. Mariemont takes over, and then a long completion from the Warriors, and then stopped in their red zone, and now Indian Hill will take over after the missed field goal try. Rob, not the offensive fireworks that some might have expected coming here this Friday night, but we've got a lot more football to play.
So Eichholz has 4 receivers out. He's got Heidel to the left. He's got his twin brother Dawson to the right. And it's a handoff to Cure as he gets about 2 yards on the play.
This brings up 2nd and 7 for Indian Hill. Back to pass is Eichholz. He's looking long.
Eichholz going deep to Dawson. And that ball's almost picked off.
Warriors had good defense. They had him pretty well covered on that play. But we've already seen this season, time and again, the long ball has paid off for the Braves. Won't be surprised to see them go to that again if they get the right matchup. So 3rd down, 7.
You know, Indian Hill is ranked 3rd in the state right now, Bob, coming into this game. Quick screen. I believe that is Colin Shaw with the reception for a first down out to the 37-yard line.
You know, nice play call. We're seeing downfield really good coverage, and Colin came across the entire field, got free, and then got the first down with his feet. Very nice play both by Eichholz and by Shaw, and he had nice protection in the pocket as well. First down, Indian Hill. Hands the ball off to Hunter Cure. He does not have much to go, but he's fighting for yards. He may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage on that one. Mariemont's defense is really playing tough at the line of scrimmage.
And they're going to spot this ball at the 37. It'll be 2nd and 10. Actually, they gave him 2 yards. About 1.5 yards. Eichholz to the right. Heidel to the left, 21. Worland in motion to the left side. So we've got 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Shotgun snap. Eichholz hands it off up the middle to Garrick for about a 5-yard pickup. It'll be 3rd and 5.
Garrick has had some fine runs this season already. You know, just when you think that they're going to air it out, then Garrick has come in with some really excellent runs and some first down pickups and some scores. So this will bring up a 3rd and about 4 at the 42-yard line. Mariemont's defense has not given up much this evening yet.
2 receivers split to the left for the Braves. Eichholz in the shotgun. Eichholz is going to keep it. He's going to run it. Can he get the first down? He's to the 50-yard line when he's brought down. It'll be a 1st and 10 for the Braves as they move the chains.
And I think that, you know, Reed had great presence in the pocket there. He understood that that was collapsing down. He had a lot of room to run, secured the ball, and got the first down. 1st and 10 for Indian Hill. Back to pass is Eichholz. He's getting some pressure.
As he scrambles, he gets past the line of scrimmage. He's 10 yards. He's to the 34-yard line before he's brought down. So it'll be another 1st and 10. Great scramble by Reed. He slipped a couple times, found his footing, eluded the tacklers, and gained about 14 yards on the play.
Yeah, Rob, I really thought that they had Reed in the backfield. Mariemont just couldn't bring him down. He got a timely block from his brother and scrambled for another first down.
The 1st and 10 on the 34. Eichholz goes with a quick snap, and it's a long pass. And he couldn't hang on to it. That pass was intended for Nick Heidel.
Rob, I think they will keep going deep. I think they believe that Nick Heidel, Colin Shaw have the opportunity to grab one of those in a jump ball contest. But second down and 10 for Indian Hill.
So it's Heidel and Shaw to the left. It's Dawson, Eichholz to the right. Eichholz back. Quick pass over the middle is incomplete as it's knocked down by Mariemont. So it'll be 3rd and 10.
We are coming to the close of the first quarter, and although no one would have suspected this, Mariemont and Indian Hill have both been ineffective in scoring. But Indian Hill has the ball driving inside the 35-yard line. Back in shotgun is Reed Eichholz, looking for a receiver, and he's going to run with it. Leans forward.
And he picks up about 7 on the play, so it'll be 4th and 3. And I think Braves are going to let the clock expire here. I'm sorry, it's 4th and 2. Scoreboard's a little slow. As the Braves go for it on 4th and 2. It's a long pass. Oh, and they cannot complete it.
Wide open was Dawson Eichholz, and fine idea, just couldn't grab that one. So that'll be a turnover on downs. Could not connect on 4th and 2, and Indian Hill's going to come back on defense as Mariemont takes over.
Bob, we'd expect this out of a Mariemont Indian Hill game, that it's always a defensive battle, and it's whoever can break open the offensive can first usually has the upper hand and wins the game.
Oh, almost intercepted. Back to pass was Cromer, and he was well covered there by Dan Becker.
So what's amazing about this Braves defense, Bob, is out on the field, I think we have 1 senior in Heidel, and the rest are juniors and sophomores. So the CHL coaches have to be worried about this Braves football program going into the future. So we're 0-0 at the end of 1, Bob. It is a defensive battle here, as neither team is able to put it into the end zone. We have not seen a lot of fireworks. A couple big attempts, Mariemont Cromer has had the longest pass completion in the first quarter. Eichels has had several great runs for the Braves, but this has been pretty much old-fashioned, grinded-out football.
Of tonight's game on the Indian Hill Television Network is a presentation of the Indian Hill High School Video Department. The Video Department provides the community with educational and school-focused programming through the facilities of the ICRC.
Well, we're back to start the second quarter. Mariemont has the ball and is looking to drive. Back to throws, Cromer. He's got a man in the flats, steps out of bounds. That may be enough for a first down for Mariemont.
Cromer back in the shotgun, 3 receivers to the right. It's up over the middle to number 9 who catches the ball. And he's to the 15, 10, 5, and Mariemont puts up the first score of the game on a completion by Cromer.
Yeah, Cromer he definitely had some pressure and stayed very poised in the pocket and delivered a strike to his right receiver. And that's going to be the first score of the game. Mariemont goes up 6-0. Snap is down, the point after attempt, and there's a flag on the play. The kick will be good. We'll see what the flag is about. Refs are going to talk this over, and players are staying on the field. We'll see what the call is on this. Looks like they're going to call a hold on the Warriors. And we'll have to replay the point after.
Hey, you just knocked us out.
Kick is up. And it's good. Nice kick by Mariemont.
So Mariemont quickly puts 7 points on the board here in the second quarter as the Braves are going to bring out their offense, and let's see if they can get something started here in the second quarter, Bob.
Well, Indian Hill has had success with the long drives. Interestingly, just have not gotten it going on the ground tonight. They've had a few good pass opportunities, but Mariemont's been able to defend that well. We'll look to see if Indian Hill tries to get some success running the ball in this next drive. So it took over 1 quarter for us to have a score. Mariemont leads now 7-0. Indian Hill's going to be back to receive. Back to receive will be both Dorian Magruder and also Zarian Hunter-Cure.
Back deep for the Braves.
We have Magruder and Hunter-Cure. And here's the kick.
And Shaw's lined up at about 35. It's a short kick, and it's going to bounce out of bounds at about the 20-yard line. And they'll be flagged for a penalty here.
That'll be for an out-of-bounds kick, I believe.
And the Braves should take this over at about the 35-yard line.
So obviously, Rob, Mariemont's done a good job of scheming defensively, trying to pick out the opportunities for Indian Hill and really try to stymie that. We'll see what the coaching staff for Indian Hill draws up in this drive after they re-kick this kick. I think the Indian Hill coaches decided they wanted to make Mariemont re-kick it.
I don't know that I agree with Akiri on this one.
Well, that's showing some confidence in your return team. We'll see if Magruder or Hunter Cure can get a hold of a good return here and spark some enthusiasm for the Indian Hill sideline. The kick is away. It's a low kick. This will be returnable. It's picked up
Gets
here.
At 12, he's to the 20, 25, 30, 35.
So net on that is about equal. They end up at the 35-yard line. Mariemont covers that reasonably well. And the Braves offense will take over again. Rob, recall that in the first quarter, the Braves were right down there by the goal line, and if not for a fumble turnover, looked about ready to score. So the Braves have got some work to do to get back into the red zone. But let's see, Dawson Eichholz is back in the shotgun position. He's got two running backs. He's going to hand off. That's Garrick making some positive yards on first down. Probably a pickup of 5 yards.
It'll be 2nd and 5 for the Braves at the 40-yard line.
As we said before, it'll be interesting to see if they try to go to the ground, add another blocker.
Well, that last offensive play that the Braves had in the first quarter to the wide open Dawson Eichholz in the end zone was directly attributed to how well the Braves run the ball. They were confident that on 4th and 2 that the Braves were going to have Eichholz bring the ball out.
Fine play by Mariemont defender there at defensive back, shed the block and bring down Colin Shaw, who looked like he was going to have some daylight.
And he's going to lose about 2 yards on the play, so it'll be 3rd and 7 for the Braves. So Garrett's in the backfield with Eichholz. You have 2 receivers here on the short side in Heidel and Shaw. Mariemont's bringing the pressure. It's over the middle. Completion to Shaw, who gets the first down and across the midfield to about the 49-yard line.
Nice play. And Reed had some time in the pocket, showed a lot of maturity and poise, found his open man, went through a progression, as you noted, and then got the nice first down. That's a good pickup for Indian Hill. They really needed that one.
That's the second time on that flat play that Shaw has come across the field into wide open space and made a great pickup for the Braves, who were looking at a 4th and long if it wasn't a completion. Completion to Shaw again at about the 41-yard line, so it'll be about 2nd and 6.
And you know, Rob, on a play like that, it is extremely hard to defend for Mariemont when you give a quarterback that much time. So give great credit to the offensive line for Indian Hill. Brings up 2nd and short.
Garrett comes out of the game. They bring in Dawson Eichholz to have the triple threat. And that's Jack Sturwalt. On the right side, Heidel and Shaw again on the short side here on the left side of our field. Eichholz puts the ball up and it's incomplete. That pass was intended for
I believe that was Dawson Eichels on that play again. So near miss, but it is again 3rd and short for Indian Hill. Kind of like the idea of going for a long pass down the middle on 2nd and short, but it's been several passes just shy of making the connection.
I'm going to make a prediction that Eichels is going to keep it and try to get the 2 yards as he does, and he almost breaks free of the scrum, and he's to about the 34-yard line before he's brought down.
Great job by the offensive line on that play. They listened to the cadence and got the quick snap, and first down Indian Hill.
So in the backfield with Eichels is Hunter Cure. Eichels keeps it again, and he's going to pick up about 3 yards before he's brought down, so it'll be 2nd and 7 for the Braves.
Braves are starting to put themselves together a pretty nice drive. They're inside the 35-yard line, maybe the 32, with 2nd and 8.
John Heidel out on the left side. That's now the wide side of the field. 2 receivers to the right. And that's a completion for about 5 yards. Will be about 3rd and 3 to Ben Worlin on that.
Ben Worthlin has shown some fine hands on a couple receptions tonight, Rob. Nice to see that. Nice spark and another receiver. 3rd and 1 or 2 here. Quick snap.
Eichels with the keeper, and he gets the first down as he crosses the 20-yard line and is brought down. And they'll spot this ball right on the 20-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Braves.
But we're going to get a call there. I think that somebody may have moved before the snap on that. It's a tough cadence when you call that quick snap, and I think the refs are going to call that on Indian Hill.
And they did. So it's 3rd and 6 now. You know, the big difference between this team this year and last year, Bob, is a lot more weapons in the receiving core than just Heidel and Shaw, who last year was a freshman and very inexperienced at the high school game. Shaw deep. This ball is going to Heidel. Can he make the completion? No, it's an incomplete pass. It's going to be 4th and 6.
I applaud the Braves' confidence in that long ball, which has served them pretty well this year. They've had a bit more success tonight with the medium passing over the middle. So it'll be 4th and 6 for Indian Hill. They have failed to pick up some points so far in this first half against the quite tough Mariemont defense.
If you're Coach Arcuri, you're starting to think, what am I going to do at halftime to get this offense on cue? Because they're not playing poorly. They're just slightly off tonight, Bob. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Ball's a little high, a little long. Again, that ball was intended for Colin Shaw in the end zone. And the Braves turn the ball over on downs again.
Just a little off with the connection, but
you know, I think when we get the stats at halftime, Bob, I think you're going to see that Indian Hill's put up more yardage than Mariemont. They just can't get it inside the end zone. And Mariemont draws the defense off sides as they make contact. That'll be a 5-yard pickup. It'll be 1st and 5 for Mariemont. So there's a little crack in the discipline of the Braves defense that we haven't seen all year. I think the defense is getting a little frustrated that they're doing their job and they're almost drawn offside again.
Well, give credit to Cromer's doing a fine job at the quarterback position with his cadence and his he's got an open man on the left flat. He's got a fumble on the field, but I think Mariemont has it back.
I do believe it was recovered.
That's enough for a first down as well with the fumble recovery.
So the ball will be on the 45-yard line for Mariemont as they're approaching midfield with 8:29 left here in the half. Cromer back in the shotgun, quickly putting it out, and that's another completion for about a 9-yard pickup before he's brought down by 2 Braves.
Tonight, Cromer's been quite accurate with his short passing game. We have seen the 1 turnover, but thus far he's really picking up 7, 8, 9 yards on these first down plays. So it'll be 2nd and short for Mariemont. Back to pass again. Little pressure that time.
Almost picked up.
Almost. Well defended on that play by, I believe, Dawson Eichels. This time the defensive line got to the quarterback, delivered a little bit of pressure and a blow at the end. Brings up again short, 1 yard, 3rd and 1. This time he's going to sneak forward.
And he's
going to be close.
I don't think he's going to get it.
Depends on the spot here. Good effort forward, but
it looks
Indian
like
Hill's
they're going to spot it on they're giving the spot to Mariemont. It's going to be a 1st down. I don't think he got that far, Bob.
Regardless, that'll be 1st and 10 for the Warriors. They're going to line right up. Not going to see a lot of huddling tonight. He's rolling to his right, looking for a receiver. He's got somebody on the sideline. Knocked hard out of bounds in the sideline.
After picking up about 7.
Hit hard by Demetrius Baylor on the sideline. He left a little stamp of disapproval on that tackle. So back for 2nd and 3 is Mariemont. It's back to pass again. He's looking left. He's got a receiver. It's tipped and out of the hands of 2 Mariemont wide receivers. A little dangerous play there as it slipped through the fingers, but Indian Hill could not capitalize on that deflection. That'll bring up again 3rd and 3.
That was great pass coverage by Corangle at that time.
Rob, it seems Indian Hill's starting to bring a bit more pressure. I don't know if they're doing anything different or they're just getting a little more success at the front line. Oh, fine catch on the sideline here. Number 9 for Mariemont picks up a 1st down. Rolling left is the Mariemont quarterback. He's got a man open and immediately tackled. But that's good for at least 6 yards.
So Cromer's quickly showing the Braves how he can move the ball up the field again with several completions. Not necessarily long completions, lots of 6, 7 yard completions, but he's moving the chains very efficiently. Well, Bob, I went to the Mariemont website to try to get the football roster for us, and I had the same issue that you did. The football roster link pulls up the women's soccer, and that's going to be called an incompletion.
You know, a fine pass by Cromer into the end zone, and from here, looks like an excellent reception, but the ref was right by the sideline and says he was out of bounds.
So, Bob, I'm going to try to go to the women's soccer team and see if I can pull up the football team.
Brings up 3rd and 4 for the Warriors. They may have drawn off the Indian Hill defense again with the cadence. And that may result in a 1st down. So let's say about 3 times now we've seen some miscues, and Mariemont has capitalized. So Mariemont starts now with a 1st down, and they are in the red zone.
That's an incompletion. Good coverage by the Braves on that play. Well, Bob, going to the girls' soccer team did not work.
I don't think that's going to help us identify these players.
Let's see if the CHL League has the
Rolling
roster.
to the right is Cromer. He's got a man open. He brings it down and hit immediately at the 6.
So it'll be 3rd and about 2 to go.
I think we're going to have a pass interference call on this play. I think they're going to call the Braves defense on pass interference. And I believe that'll probably bring up a first down and goal. Well, Indian Hill's defense does not seem to have an answer for the short passing attack of Mariemont this evening. Mariemont has all but abandoned the run and gone to short passing, spread offense, rolling out occasionally, and some accurate passing by Cromer.
Cromer's going to keep this and run it as he's quickly stopped at the line of scrimmage.
Nice tackle by Gottdiner on that play. They'll reset at the 3-yard line. 2nd down.
So 3 penalties on this drive have really benefited Mariemont, and Cromer's quick passing on the short game has also put them in scoring position here. But it's going to be 3rd and 3. Let's see if the Braves can stay disciplined on this.
By and large, Rob, his accuracy has been the difference in this game. Some fine wide receiver play by Mariemont, but accurate passing. Mariemont lines up 3rd and 3. Indian Hill 3-yard line.
Almost drew him offsides again, Bob.
Yeah. We can't hear the cadence from here, but something is affecting Indian Hill's D. He's going to look back and make a quick pass.
And that ball is knocked down. Great defensive play. You know, Dawson Eichholz had an opportunity to make that interception. He had it. He drops it before he hits the ground for an incompletion.
Well, give the defense credit. Now, they need to look alive on this play because they're bringing out the kicking unit, and they seem to have a very strong kicking game. But they're right there at about the 3-yard line. They appear to be lining up for the field goal.
Snap, kicks up, and it is good. So Mariemont's going to go 10-0 with about 5 minutes left in the 2nd quarter.
Well, Rob, if you had told me that with 5 minutes left in the half, Indian Hill would not have any points on the board, I would have been surprised.
Well, you have to give a lot of credit to the Mariemont defensive coaching staff. They've obviously done their homework, watched the film, and they've figured out how to stop this Eichholz and company offense, who has been very, very potent all season long. This is week 4 of the season. 3 weeks in, Eichholz has over 1,500 yards on his own. That's not the total offense for Indian Hill. It's the total offense for Reed Eichholz.
That's right. And yeah, give credit to the Mariemont coaching staff and players. They found a way to somehow disrupt that freight train. So Indian Hill's going to have at least one more drive before the halftime. Coach Arcuri could certainly use a little shot in the arm here with a good, strong drive and a score by Indian Hill before they go to the locker rooms. But Mariemont will be back to kick. We'll see if they kick it to the sideline again or if we have a return by either Hunter Cure or Magruder.
Last time Magruder got about a 30-yard return. His kick is up, and it's going to be called back.
A lot of flags tonight, Rob. We have not seen as many penalties in the games earlier in the season, and tonight we're starting to see a lot more yellow flags. Maybe
So that's going to be a 5-yard penalty on Mariemont, illegal procedure.
So we're going to redo this kick.
Magruder and Hunter Cure in the backfield for the Braves at about their own 10 and 13-yard line. The kick's off, and Magruder's going to take this at about the 15-yard line. He's to 20, 25, 30, 35. He's to the 40. He's brought down at the 42-yard line, and you can see why Cure likes his return team.
Well, Dorian does a fine job there. He breaks a tackle, he gets some positive yards, and gives Indian Hill's offense excellent field position. That may be the enthusiasm they needed, the spark. So we're going to start at the 41-yard line thanks to the special teams and Dorian Magruder. Let's see what Reed can start for this drive.
So we got Shaw, Heidel to the left. Eicholz's play is broken up. He's going to keep it himself, and he's going to bring it out to about the 47-yard line before he's brought down.
Well, he gets positive yards on first down. That's probably a good 6 yards on that first play. 2nd and 5 or 2nd and 4, depending on the spot. Once again, 4 receivers. This time 3 to the right and 1 Nick Heidel on the left. He's got
Quickly to Heidel for the first down.
He's got Heidel right on the sideline. He's got 4 minutes 23 left in the half. Plenty of time for this drive. Handoff up the middle. Maybe a couple of yards. Bring up 2nd and 8. That was Nick Garrett with the run.
It's going to be marked at about the 48-yard line. I'm sorry, the 44-yard line. Eichels with a screen completed. And I believe that was to Colin Shaw.
Mariemont really seems to see that play coming. They've defended that well every time tonight.
As he picks up about 4 yards, it'll be 3rd and about 5. Time as Mariemont gets into the backfield. Eichels is looking. There's going to be a holding call on this play as Eichel puts the ball up and is almost intercepted. We'll see a repeat of 3rd down. It'll be about 3rd. This is going back 10 yards, Bob.
So yeah, I think that penalties have been an important factor in the first half for Indian Hill, for certain. 3rd and 15 for Indian Hill. Mariemont's defense has probably been the stellar unit tonight in this first half. Rolling left is Reed. Looking downfield, going long.
Heidel's going to go up for the ball, and it's knocked away.
Well defended. Nick went for the jump ball and almost had it.
So Heidel will come back up the field to punt this ball for the Braves. There's just something off about the Braves offense tonight.
I don't think they just got to get Heidel back there to punt.
Heidel with the punt. And this is going to be back. It's going to get a great Braves bounce, but it's picked up by Mariemont, who's quickly dropped by number
I think the tackle on that play may have been by Adam Sichel.
I believe you're correct.
Nice hustle by the snapper. Well, there's still plenty of time left in this half. 3 minutes for Mariemont, who has shown they can hit with the quick strike as well. This time he's back to pass. He's hit as he throws.
And that's an incomplete pass. So with 2:58 left, the Braves are in the position of playing catch-up ball here as the defense becomes rock solid again and stops them. It'll be and Indian Hill is going to call a timeout to stop the clock.
Rob, I think Arcuri wants to see if we can get the ball back and have one more good chance at a scoring drive. Indian Hill has moved the ball. They've just been one penalty or one miscue away from a couple good scores.
Well, the last offensive drive by Mariemont, you can credit the Indian Hill defense with at least 20 yards of their offensive ball movement on penalties. And on critical downs, 3rd and long, 4th and long, giving them first down opportunities. So the defense needs to hold Mariemont here to give us an opportunity to have a great return and hopefully give the Braves the ball at about the 50-yard line with more than 2 minutes left in the game. But they have to stop Mariemont on this play.
Well, we'll see what Mariemont's coaching staff has drawn up here. Kind of a risky situation deep in their own territory, 3rd and long.
They've been very successful on this short screen pass.
Rolling to the right.
Rolling to the right, and he's brought down for a loss. The defense has finally stepped up in this game as he was brought down by number 79.
I believe that's Marcus Bascom on that play. Very nice play. Really showed some speed to really chase down the Mariemont quarterback.
So this is going to be
play.
4th and about 13.
Rob, while we've seen a couple scores here by Mariemont, give some real credit to Indian Hill's defense on a couple of series.
On the opening series, the defense looked stellar. Then it was 2 series that they kind of cracked a little, and in this series, they've definitely come back and shown that they are the dogmen of Indian Hill.
There we go. Well, 2:39 left in the half. Certainly time for Indian Hill to try to make something occur here. Looks like we're going to have 2 players back to receive, Magruder and Heidel for Indian Hill. See if we can get a return. Mariemont certainly doesn't want to have a miscue on this punt, risk having a punt blocked or a safety. But Mariemont's punter will be backed up at about his own goal line.
And the punt is off, and this is going to be a short punt, and it's going to hit, and it's going to take a little bit of a Mariemont bounce as the Braves will take over at about the 49-yard line. So we'd like to thank Dial 1 and Weiler Automotive for supporting Braves football here this year.
And let's thank everybody who came out and supported Touchdown for Downs. and the Indian Hill student body and all those involved. And let's remind everyone, tonight is band night. We'll have the Indian Hill Braves Marching Band and some of their young proteges from the middle school. But right now, Indian Hill's got a chance for a scoring drive with 2 minutes, 27 seconds. Reed Eichels is back. He's looking to his right, and he's looking down the middle. He's got a man open.
And that's going to be, he's brought down from behind at about the 10-yard line. It's number 21. That's Ben Worland again.
I'll tell you, Ben Worthland has really provided a spark here. We see a flag on the field. We'll have to see what the officials have to say. It was an inadvertent. So Ben Worthland really lighting it up with 2 or 3 excellent catches tonight, and the run after the catch was magnificent. Indian Hill has got a little life before the halftime with 2 minutes, 17 seconds, and they've got the ball on the 11-yard line, Rob. This is a scoring opportunity that Indian Hill does not want to squander.
Yeah, you know, when we look at the offense and we look at our normal threats in Heidel and Shaw and Eichholz, it's really been Ben Worland that has allowed the Braves to have any kind of offense. Recruiters stopped at the line of scrimmage for no gain. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Eichels has one man in the background. In the backfield, it's Hunter Cure. He takes the snap and rolls left. He's going to run with it. He's got 2 men to beat. They're going to mark him down at about the 1/2-yard line. Excellent effort by Reed Eichels. He had some blockers. Mariemont did not yield the touchdown. They're going to mark him very close to the goal line.
Now that's the dangerous part of Reed Eichholz's game, is that if you cover his passing game in a zone situation, he's going to capitalize on it and run the ball against you and pick up a first down.
Mariemont is pinching the line in the middle, expecting the quarterback sneak, and there it is. And I think
Eichholz
he's in the
with
end
the
zone.
touchdown. So
Rob, a fine effort here late in the first half. We should point out the defense got the ball back for the offense. Got the ball back, and we had some excellent nifty running by Ben Worthland, and then Reed Eichels does it himself on the ground. So Indian Hill is now down 10-6.
So let's hope that's a spark for the Braves, as we have about 1:15 left here in the first half, and the Braves put the extra point up. It'll be 7-10. Braves are going to be kicking off to Mariemont. You know, that was probably the best offensive series that the Braves have had. Now, they did only have to go 50 yards, but it was well executed. Mariemont dropped back into a zone coverage after Worland got that great pass that's been deadly against Mariemont all night. And I think they started to realize that Eichels wasn't going to go to Heidel and Shaw anymore, that he was looking for Worland. They went to the zone. Eichels capitalizes on a great run to put it on the goal line and then takes it in on the quarterback sneak for the touchdown.
And the Warriors are doing an excellent job of covering the top receivers for Indian Hill. Make no mistake, they've been playing very tough pass defense against Heidel, against Shaw, against Eichels. So Ben Worthland, the spark to the offense so far, with a couple very nice catches. And then Reed Eichels with excellent running and just powering his way into the end zone. Indian Hill's looking alive here. 1:14 left in the half.
Heidel will kick the ball off. As the crowd gets a little more rambunctious here, it's going to be a short kick for Mariemont as they drive him out of bounds.
Well, Indian Hill's defense would love to be able to create a turnover here with just a minute left in the half. Once again, at halftime, we will welcome Indian Hill's Braves Marching Band, and I think that we also have Mariemont's Marching Band. We'll see. But we've got a little bit of football to play before halftime. Taking the ball and handing off.
And that's a loss.
Brought down immediately by Demetrius.
So Demetrius is showing his speed on the end position there, getting in there quickly, dropping the back for about a 4-yard loss.
Be interesting to see if Warriors coaches allow him to throw. I think they're going to let this clock run down as much as they can. And I don't know in terms of timeouts that Indian Hill is going to be able to stop that.
I think Akari's just going to let it go, let the defense do their thing and stop it to take some momentum into the and he's going to be dropped at about the line of scrimmage, way outside as he tried to swing it way to the left. And this clock will expire with the score 7-10 Mariemont after 1 half. And Mariemont's just going to let this clock expire. So at halftime, it's the Braves 7, Mariemont 10. The stars of the game have been for Mariemont. Their defense has held the Braves' top receiving core of Eichholz, Heidel, and Shaw to very little yardage. But the star for the Braves has been Ben Werlin, who has had 3 or 4 incredible receptions that set up, his last reception set up the Braves for that great run by Eichholz to put him on the goal line, and Eichholz just takes it in for himself.
Absolutely, and we'll be interested to see what the Indian Hill coaching staff and Coach Arcuri puts together for the second half. They've got a lot of weapons, as we've said over and over, and it just stands to reason that Indian Hill will come out with yet even some more wrinkles that we haven't seen yet this season. Excellent job by Mariemont's coaching and scheming to stop the traditional strong running and passing. Indian Hill's going to have to come back and counterpunch. But they showed an excellent last drive with very little time in the half. And I think this is a lot of football to play, Rob.
There's still a lot of football to play. I'm Rob Young with Bob Rhodes in the booth tonight. We're going to take a short break here. Wish you were here to watch the Indian Hill Band as they take the field for their halftime show on band night with a lot of young band members joining them.
Coverage of Brave sports on the Indian Hill Television Network wouldn't be possible without the generous support of the Indian Hill Boosters, the PTO, and the ICRC. Their grants have provided us with the equipment to bring Indian Hill sports off the field or gymnasium and into the community, and we appreciate all they've done to develop our television programming.
Please don't bump me, okay? I don't want to gotta secure it.
No, I'm not worried about that.
Oh, we are. I am. Lord. That kills him.
Yeah, you're out of there too.
Would we be better off putting it down here?
No, I think right there is perfect.
Yeah, if you got it down there, it won't do you any good.
Yeah, we'll secure it. We'll secure it.
You know, you can get a nice 7-inch that mounts right to the tripod. It's $90.
School won't spend the money.
What?
They won't spend the money. Okay.
So how's your son doing?
Health-wise, well, yeah, very well. We're happy.
Where's he hanging out on the school?
You know what? So I wasn't sure what he was going to do. Because he didn't do games or anything like that. Just waiting. He was playing well. Why in 10th grade, and he was long ball. So we didn't know. So we got some interest. Some coaches came to the X Games. He didn't play well. He was a weird dude.
Not a big fan.
You like him more than me.
Not a big fan. I was
Day one.
so Matt Senior here. I treat grandma because your guys that Matt had played summer ball with all Sam Long got in Matt's face after you guys won that. And said, see, I'm the better goalie, that's why I should be playing. That's what Sam Long said to Matt. And Matt never says anything.
You're so respectful.
You know Matt, he doesn't say anything about anything. He won't even tell me the good or the bad.
Right,
And when my son gets he starts fussing up on the storm saying, this guy's the biggest asshole in the world. If I ever see Cal Freeze on the field, I will decapitate him. I mean, Cal Freeze told me to suck it, and that's why I was able to score him. That senior year, you know how many defenders we had? We had one defender that had one varsity game the year before. The other defenders, you know, the process they had 1 year old.
It's like football lacrosse is. You can have 4 All-Americans
You know?
and lose, yeah.
Look, St. X is boys, not football, but lacrosse wise.
Oh yeah, well, that's a big case of here, right?
It was just it was a terrible way to end my senior lacrosse. And I told Graham, I said, you know what? I've lost a little bit of respect for you. I said, you always talk about sportsmanship in the game, and I will tell you the way you acted on the sideline, you encouraged the kids. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, this isn't the first time. I said, I can give you a laundry list of players across the city that complain about your team. I can give you a laundry list of coaches that complain about you. I can give you a laundry list of all about it. Well, him in particular. I can give you a laundry list of officials that will complain about you because you like to throw in their face. And I said, let me remind you, you may have played in college in the day, and you may have been the best defender in the nation your senior year. It doesn't stand for a Philippines coach in high school. And I said, the way your players act in the day is a reflection of you and your coaches. And I said, he goes, what do you mean? I said, well, I happen to know that you guys like to learn houses when you play board games. I said, you can help never does that. And I said, I get it. It's high school spirit. I said, but when your players are approaching our players and telling them they suck and they should have never been the starting goalie in this program, after we played for you, and the only reason your goalie is on the Warriors team is because Matt blew his knee out in the summer in between 8th grade and 9th grade. That never happens. He never ever had the opportunity. I said, so understand.
That's beside the point, though. It's just class. It's like the class.
And my son discussed across the front. What? We asked for permission, you were here. We asked for permission to set up our stuff. So we have, they've got a football camera, we've got one, we put it down there. We had them both set up here. The kids that were here said, yeah, you're on the way, just sit here and here.
again, or?
It's very long. I think that these cameras work for him or something.
Right. This television station is owned by the high school.
Okay, so technically the high school owns this.
But to give you an idea, the Indian Hill Television Network, the guy that built this, gave the high school $500,000 to build this and build the television station. So,
But anyhow, I told him, I said, well, we'll put a camera up here, because this monitor, you were right. I said, we'll put the camera up there. We'll pick up the video right on the steps. So, it's such a hassle every time we come here. Where can we film? We ask for permission. They say, yeah, put it right here. And come up, and we got to measure our image. I don't take care of it. I ask them.
See, like you said, we have a booth down there that they give us.
For coaches. For coaches.
That's all we get ready. And we don't even get that ready.
No, we stand out on the steps.
I know, so
I heard
it is what it is.
and that's the same food that we get. I have to stand in the football booth.
Yeah, we got a coach's booth and a film booth. And the film booth, you can put 2 cameras in. So, yeah, I understand.
I haven't talked to Rob in 2 years, so if you don't mind, I'm sorry.
Go, Steve.
So you gotta know where it's gonna.
So, what mine was this? So he took the ACT green times. 27 his first time, his sophomore year, got 28, and he got 32. I'm like, oh shit, okay. So we didn't get the score until last week of June. Maybe something in between. Maybe a PA.
Or an SA,
Yeah.
which is surgical assistant.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, yeah.
My brother.
Is that right? Well, maybe we don't have to talk to you for a conversation, but we're just trying to figure it out. So I just said, I started on the back of an envelope and I started writing down these schools, and you see all these people right here, excuse me, in Jacksonville or Detroit or wherever else. Drexel, and I don't know anything about the schools. So I just started on the back of the envelope. I said, I'm going to write the Lax Paddle Rankings, Division 3. I'm just kind of curious how competitive they are. And I'm going to put U.S. News and report and the fourth rankings on it, just to see, good schools. And so from there, going into a spreadsheet, and so I started looking at the schools where he's got an unweighted 367. Not great, but it's good. It's very good. He makes a lot of key.
I mean, I have to pay for them to get there. I have to.
Oh yeah. No, I'm sure. Yeah.
But
That's fantastic. I'm gonna share this spreadsheet I did. It ended up.
I'm sure it looks a lot like the one that I created.
I've got probably almost a couple hundred hours in it. Just so you know, I mean, a lot of it's the workflow of like the school.
Yeah.
So we had a call, the NESCAC.
Yeah.
Okay, so we had a contact the Children's and the Centennial. So we got, here are the 3. Okay, the NESCAC, Connecticut College, Trinity, and Hamilton.
I would stay away from him. I would stay.
Why that? Because that's the one that he's looking for, and I really want to go there. I read so much about like the.
What is Trinity?
Oh yeah. And he likes Connecticut College. I like him.
Connecticut College.
We haven't been there yet.
The best academic school out of those 3 is Trinity.
Okay, so the other 2 we went to, Swarthmore and Hatton. Didn't like Swarthmore as much. Hatton loved it. Went back this past weekend for tonight. And so,
That's like
coach loves it.
great. You want me to give him?
He takes so much off him. I think
on his back.
no, I think he Frost.
So
He likes it.
he's got enough. Those would be the
I'm not saying that he would make it, but if that's what he wants to do. I mean, you can't beat the education.
No. Yeah, so he's gonna, mom's gonna take him down there. Once football season's over, we don't expect him to play, so we'll never say it. So Effort really wants it, and Mississippi, so really all started the weekend at Lebanon outdoor thing. That's when, like, we kind of got a score, and we started like putting it all together. So from then we discovered Kenny was calling every week, and they did a team thing for Genesis. Which I didn't even do. Usually really puts a lot of pressure on. I never thought I'd see him see your kids. So we did, and so Kenny was calling him, and he called him before and after camp. He said, "That's good. They're going to be impressed with you." But he said, "We want early the season." So they did. And they were contacting every week from the same next week, like texting and stuff. We really liked it. But then, about a week after camp, and Aaron just said, "No, I'm not going to do that. I've got a lot of my stuff on this." A week later, he says, he gets an email from him saying, "We come on spots." So this is going to traffic. That's fine. But these guys, everybody else here is getting lots of spots. That's when we started to figure out, like, wow. And the first email I got back from got like Max Morgan, so the Gator guys, the same thing. Thank you. You look great on film or whatever. See you in the future you play. Wish you luck, man. I've already got my list of formative additions. Said the same way. It's really interesting.
Yeah, with those schools, it's all about him.
Yeah.
But if he's got a 32 and it's 37, 38, I get it just fine.
Hamilton, they did a profile of the 2019 class, this year's freshman starting, and you look at, and they broke it down by ACT score. I think that was crazy. I'm serious with you. You'll like this, because I broke down a lot of finance too. You told me one time, I always stuck with you. You were talking about Ivy League, and you specifically talking about them supporting groups in financial need.
If you make under 60.
And there's a thing, and I think you're familiar with this already, but what they call no land school. That started with Princeton and Harvard.
And the first one was UConn.
Was it?
Yeah, because guess who founded it? Ben Franklin. That was one of the founders of UConn, was Ben Franklin. And Ben Franklin does not believe in debt. So UConn will not let you take any loan. So it's legal.
Haverford is a train stop away down the main line. You can take any class you want if you can, including boarding school.
And right next door is Drexel,
Yeah, right.
which has a great physical therapy department.
Yeah, and your guy went there. Your both.
Yeah, AJ. He never really got away. Like, he left after 3 years. But yeah, he went.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh, I loved it at all.
It's a city camp.
You had a falling out with the coach. AJ was used to being the superstar. Like many players.
Six long.
Yeah, and AJ thought he could play somewhere else. But it's still a small town.
Yeah,
So, you don't. I was on the phone with Ricky Solo from Navy yesterday, head coach of Navy. And I'm not from it.
Welcome back to Friday Night Lights at Tomahawk Stadium with the Indian Hill Braves playing the Mariemont Warriors. The Braves are trailing the Mariemont Warriors 7-10 here at the beginning of the first half. The Braves will be kicking off to Mariemont as we are ready to take the field. Bob, so going back to the first half, going back to the first part of this season, you know,
Experience said, make sure I tell you hi, he's over there wearing blue. I told him
Well, one of the things, Rob, we've missed tonight has been the big strike from Reed Eichels to one of his wide receivers. Where he's had more success has been the intermediate and short passing. And we haven't seen Mariemont allowing that big strike. We've seen some big long gainers in games recently to Dawson Eichels, to Colin Shaw. We've seen it to, of course, Nick Heidel. Tonight, Mariemont's found a way to shut that down, and we've had some blocking protection. They've just had really good coverage downfield, Rob.
Yeah, they've covered the receivers well. Eichels has, you know, done a good job of keeping the ball away from the coverage, but has been a little bit off on his long game. And I think you're right. I think we're going to see a lot more of the scramble game and short screen passes, especially if Mariemont opts to go into that zone defense like they did in the last drive.
Well, last week, Indian Hill with a fine performance over Wyoming at Wyoming. Mariemont went over to Taylor, played tough, but did not come away with the W. Now next week, Rob, in the CHL, we've got a couple of other good contests. Indian Hill then has its chance to go to Taylor, and Wyoming comes to Mariemont. So here we see a little full circle, and it'll be another tough week. So there's absolutely no rest for the weary here in the CHL. We've got some very close competition, and right now, Rob, it doesn't look like there's one team that's ready to run away with it.
Now, everybody was, after week 3, was thinking that the Braves might be that team coming out, you know, going to Wyoming. But everybody needs to remember, Wyoming last week was playing a freshman quarterback because their senior quarterback was injured and is out. So Joey Edmondson had a great game for them, just came up short, but he put up 21 points.
Absolutely. He did a fine job, and Wyoming always seems to come up with stellar quarterbacking. Indian Hill's got their fine quarterback this year as well, has not been able to hook up like he has in the games prior. And we're going to think that Indian Hill's coaching staff and Coach Arcuri has come up with some more interesting wrinkles to their game to offensively put some more points on the board. Indian Hill certainly has been the statistical leader in just about every category offensively in the CHL. Not tonight. Mariemont's had they've had their number.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. You know, when you look at Indian Hill has the top 3 receivers in the league. They have the top passer in the league. They have the number 3 running back in the league in Eichels. Defensively is where they don't show up quite as much. They have Dan Becker at number 5 in the league. They don't have anyone with sacks. You know, Wyoming leads the league with sacks. Interceptions, you know, Dawson is number 4 in the league with interception as this ball is kicked deep to the 15 as he brings the ball out to the 20, the 25, and out of bounds at about the 27-yard line.
So Indian Hill starts on defense. Defense has actually played fairly strong for Indian Hill. We talked about some of the snap miscues, and Mariemont was effective in drawing Indian Hill off sides a number of times, Rob. I imagine they're going to have that fixed in the second half.
Yeah, you got to think that that's the one thing that Arcuri talked to the defense about was being patient, not jumping. Quick screen pass out to number 6 as he's brought down at about the 30-yard line for about a 3-yard gain.
Well, they set that one up nicely, but excellent pursuit from the linebacking core from Indian Hill.
That was number 5 for Mariemont with the reception. So Mariemont's going with 2 receivers split to the right, 2 in the short side of the field. Receiver in motion coming from left to right. And it's a long pass over the middle, and it's caught by number 5, who's brought down for the first down at the 45 as Mariemont quickly brings it into Brave territory.
And he was well covered. He just really had great concentration, hauled that in, and stuck with the ball. He had 2 Indian Hill defensive backs on him with that reception. You know, Cromer's showing really good poise. He's been having some pressure, but he's made some excellent passes throughout this game.
There's a reason he's the number 2 quarterback in the league, and you know, I think we may find at the end of the season, depending on how these games play out, the way Mariemont's playing tonight, I could see them winning the game against Wyoming next week. We know that Taylor's big, strong, and physical, so that'll be a good test for the Braves. Cromer back in the shotgun. He's going to keep it as he's dropped. Well, he's tied up, and now he's dropped for about a 5-yard loss as the defense brings it up big, and it'll be spotted at about the 46-yard. Nope, they're going to spot it at the 44, so it'll be 3rd and 10.
Well, this is an important down right now for Indian Hill. Defensive line made a nice push. Dan Becker and others brought him down for the sack. But 3rd and 10, Mariemont has had success even when 3rd and long in this game. Low snap. He's rolling to his left. He's looking for a receiver. He may run.
He's going to keep it, and he's going to pick up the first down. So the Braves are unable to stop a 3rd and 10 drive as Cromer runs it out to the left side and brings it up to about the 30-yard line for a first down. So this is not how we'd hoped the Braves defense would start the second half. We were hoping they'd be like they were in the last 2 drives on Mariemont. Cromer's bringing it to the right side and keeping it, and he's quickly dropped at about the 24-yard line.
But he gets around end and has some positive yardage. It's going to be 2nd and about 2.
Cromer looking for the signal from the sideline. 2 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Lone back. He's in the shotgun and he's looking for the pass. He's rolling out to the right, and it's almost picked off by Eichholz.
Yeah, Dawson had his eyes on that, just couldn't come down with the ball. But good pressure by the defense. Good coverage downfield. Cromer got away with one that could have been a costly interception.
Cromer with 3 to the short side, takes it up the middle, and he's brought down.
I'm going to say no gain, Rob. I don't think that the defense let him get any forward progress there. Dan Becker, Bascom. Good tackle on that play.
Now that front defensive line for the Braves has been stellar all year. And they're going to go for a long 30-plus yard kick here.
Indian Hill's going to have to be alert for the funny business here on the kick. Snaps up. It's high. He's got the kick away. It's got enough distance.
And it's not going to be. It is good. Well, the angle from up here, Bob, has been very difficult tonight. I think I need to go see the doctor, and not an orthopede. I'll go see a eye doctor.
I can't help you on that one, Rob.
I know. So it's 13-7 Mariemont as the Braves will get the ball for the first time in this second half. Let's see if the Braves can capitalize on the momentum that they took into the locker room, making that great offensive drive to put up their first points at the end of the second quarter.
I think Indian Hill would love to get an excellent return with their special teams to start off this with good field position.
They're going to have Magruder.
Looks like we're going to have on the near side Magruder, Hunter Cure in the center of the field.
Garrick out to block.
Well, kicking has been a big part of the game tonight. Mariemont certainly had some success this evening, but off to kick off for the Warriors, and Indian Hill is to receive. The kick is off.
This kick is away.
It's going to go to Magruder.
Magruder gets it at about the 5. He's to the 10, 15. He's to the 20 as he turns the corner to the 25, 30. And he bulldogs through to the 35-yard line before he's brought down by number 9 for Mariemont.
Dorian Magruder with a fine return really puts the Indian Hill Braves in good field position.
It's a 30-yard return from Magruder. As the Braves will start on the 35.
On the sideline, Dorian did not go out of bounds easily and said hello to the special teams player from Mariemont. So Reed Eichels back to start the second half. He's going to start in shotgun position. 5 wide receivers in this set.
Eichels is going to scramble and keep it as he's dropped at about the line of scrimmage. Now they're going to credit him with about a 2-yard pickup on that.
They had one Mariemont Warrior who went unblocked. And that's the danger when we have a spread offense, is they can send somebody quite quickly. But Reed's going to take the ball with 2nd and about 9.
Bring Garrick in the backfield. 4 receivers to the left, to the right.
This time they rush 3.
Eichels with it. Past a Heidel that goes through his hands. That should have been a completion. Heidel just has not been able to hold on to the ball tonight.
A little bit behind him on that play, but he just didn't have it. So that's going to bring up 3rd and long.
Well, receiver coach for the Bengals that we all know, Mark Carrier, would have told you if you touch it, you got to catch it. Garrick in the backfield with Eichels. 3 receivers to the left. Dawson Eichels on the right side. Eichels back for the pass, and he's scrambling again as he quickly gets out to about the 44-yard line, where he'll be spotted about 4th and 2.
And I think that Indian Hill's offense is going to stay on the field here with 4th and short. Curry keeps him on the field. 4th and 2.
Going for the quick snap. Some of the fans are asking for the penalty flag as Mariemont infringed on the neutral zone, but they made no contact. That's a first down for the Braves as that pass is completed to number 21.
Once again, our player tonight, Benjamin Worthland, taking that for the first down. Rob, we've called his name a lot tonight, and he's having a fine night.
Well, this is definitely going to go down as the Eichels-Worthland show tonight in regards to passing and receiving. 5 receivers again for the Braves, 3 on the right side, 2 on the left. Eichels out of the shotgun. He's going to keep it himself as he runs it for a gain of about 8 yards. So it appears that we're kind of going to the old ugly, as I like to call it, offense, where Eichels is going to run it, then go for the pass. It's very effective. It's tough to cover because Eichels does have an accurate arm most of the time. Quick snap. It's a handoff up the middle, and they'll get the first down as he's brought down at about the 35-yard line. So 1st and 10 as the Braves move the chains again. Indian Hill's opting for this quick offense. As the chains are moved, they're already lined up. Eichels in the shotgun. Garrett's in the backfield with him. Two receivers split right, 2 to the left. Eichels looking for a quick screen pass to none other than Ben Werlin again. And I think we're going to have a penalty on the Braves. Nope, it's going to be a face mask against Mariemont. So it'll be from the spot of the foul, which was at about the 34-yard line.
Well, up till now, Mariemont has been less penalty prone than Indian Hill, and this may be the one break that Indian Hill gets that needs to capitalize on. Worthland made a nice job of at least getting some positive yards there, but Mariemont was not going to give up a large gain. But the penalty brings it to 1st and 3.
Handoff to the right, up the right side as he breaks free for a couple, and none other than Nick Garrick, the leading rusher for the Braves.
Nick has had some fine runs this season. We've just seen him break out this drive. He's had a couple nice runs and picked up 2 first downs. But that'll bring us in the red zone again, where Indian Hill has been and has not always capitalized. Handing off is once again the ball going to Garrick. He's pounding inside the 5-yard line. Rob, we have not seen a lot of huddles in this game tonight, have we?
No, both teams are opting for the no huddle. Indian Hill's definitely on this hurry up offense, and it seems to be working against Mariemont. So Garrick in the backfield again, 2 receivers to the left in Shaw and Heidel wide. And snap to Heidel. To Eichholz as he runs in for another rushing touchdown. So the one thing that's for sure is Eichholz is going to put a couple more touchdowns in his pocket tonight on the running game. He's adding more rushing yards. I think he's wanting to move himself up the leader standings in the CHL on rushing.
Well, Rob, is it safe to say that Indian Hill coaching staff has decided, as they've seen the defense cover downfield tight, rush the passer, it's left open an opportunity for Reed to use his legs, and he's a punishing runner. He's hard to bring down. It's hard to bring him down with one tackler, let alone chasing him from behind.
Yeah.
So excellent drive by Indian Hill. Garrick with a couple runs, Worthland with some good plays, and Reed Eichholz with the touchdown.
And Nick Heidel puts up the point after to give the Braves their first lead of the game. With 4:42 left here in the third quarter, the Braves go ahead finally 14-13. The Braves will be kicking off to Mariemont. So Heidel will kick this ball off. Heidel last year was, I think, in on probably 99.9% of every play of every game. This year he got a little bit banged up in the first game and was not kicking the ball for the second game of the season. Came back and started kicking again last week, and that's really added another dimension for the Braves. Against Little Miami, they struggled because they didn't have a good kicking game, and they went for the 2-point conversion almost every single time.
Mariemont runs back the kick to about the 23-yard line is where I believe they'll spot it. And that's where Cromer and offense will take over.
So this third quarter is brought to you by Architects Plus, another fine supporter of Braves football. So a little bit difference for the second half here than the first half. The Braves are bringing a lot more pressure against Mariemont, and it's causing the quarterback to have to rush a little bit and not getting a whole lot of opportunity to pass that ball.
And they're bringing their big cornerbacks to press at the line, not allowing the wide receivers to release easily. It's giving a little bit more a difficult look for the quarterback. He's back and he's got pressure in the backfield.
He gets that pass off. He's going to be just shy of the first down, I believe. Or it's going to be 3rd and about 1.
Nice poise by Cromer to find the open man on the run. But you're right, it's 3rd and short for Mariemont. Defensive secondary is going to play tight right at the line against the wide receivers.
It's going to be a wildcat here, I think.
Quarterback sneak. Comes around the end.
But they pick up the first down. Another penalty on the defense for jumping off sides. Cromer's done a great job in his cadence tonight of hassling the Braves defense.
We just haven't seen them do that in the games prior, so obviously he's found a way to really unnerve the defensive line. But he's back to pass, drops back straight. He's found a guy over the middle.
And that pass is broken up by Dawson Eichholz.
Yeah, he threw that down the right sideline, looked middle, went down to the right, had a nice spiral, but Dawson at the last minute deflects that pass for the incompletion. That's going to bring up second down and perhaps 5 with the penalty to start this. Again, they set up quickly.
3 receivers to the left, one lone receiver to the right. Braves are bringing pressure again. He rolls to his left. He's running the ball. He's past the line of scrimmage and brought down short of the first down. It's going to be about 3rd and 1.
Cromer takes a lot of hits. It's going to be a long season. But he's effective. He has good poise and makes very few mistakes. But that's a lot of beating for a long year. Rob, we've got about 3rd and 2 here for Mariemont.
Defense looking for another stop. Mariemont's trying to draw him off again, and they almost get him. You know, in youth football, we tell the boys, watch the ball. Don't listen to the cadence. He's rolling out, and another incomplete pass.
Well, Rob, this is a decision-making point for Mariemont. It's 4th and 2. Mariemont's had good success on 4th down. But it looks like they're bringing in special teams.
So the defense does another job of stopping the Mariemont Warriors offensively here in the second half. This time, unable to kick a field goal, they're going to opt to punt it. Punter's at about the 35-yard line, and that punt is up. And it's out of bounds.
We'll see where they spot it, but Indian Hill's going to take over within their own 20-yard lines.
I think they're going to spot it about the 17. Maybe my eyes aren't as bad as I thought they were.
Quickly to the line are the Braves. Officials are getting the ball ready. With 2:16 left in the quarter, Indian Hill is up 14-13 as the Braves take over at about the 23-yard line.
They moved that way up.
And the officials want a little more time.
Extra ball on the field. Hunter Cure in the backfield with Eichholz. You've got 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Eichholz back in the shotgun. He's scrambling, and he's going to release the ball before he's brought down. Great poise by Eichholz.
But we've seen more pressure on Eichels this game that we've seen in some prior games, Rob. And Mariemont has definitely schemed to try to get him a little bit uncomfortable in his passing game.
And next week, that's going to be a problem for the Braves if they don't figure out how to resolve that, because Taylor is very big on the defensive line and very quick at the end positions. Hand off to Magruder, who's up. I'm sorry,
Hunter
Cure, who's up to about the 30-yard line, so it's going to be 3rd and 5. Maybe 3rd and 4. So you got Dawson Eichholz on the right side for the Braves. 3 receivers left in Shaw, Heidel, Eichholz with the snap, and he's quickly pressured and dropped in the back as he's able to stay off of his knees. Great job by Eichholz to get back to the line of scrimmage. You know, that's just how strong he is.
By all rights, I think Mariemont thought he was down there, and Reed just muscled his way back to at least not lose as much yardage. But that brings up 4th down, and it appears the Braves are going to punt this away.
So Heidel back to punt for the Braves. Mariemont's returner back at about the 40-yard line. Heidel gets the kickoff. It's going to be a short one that bounces out of bounds at about the 47-yard line.
Nick didn't have a lot of time with that punt as well. Mariemont's bringing the pressure.
So we have 40 seconds left here in the 3rd quarter. The Braves are leading the Mariemont Warriors 14-13. Mariemont's going to take over the ball at their 47-yard line.
Well, Braves would like to sort of repeat that opportunity with turnover here, get the ball back in their possession. Turnovers have been a positive for the Braves early in this season. Tonight, I think they've had 1 turnover in their favor. Rolling to the right.
As he breaks the tackle and gets the pass off for about a 2-yard gain.
I don't know if they're going to give him that or they're going to say he was out of bounds.
It's ruled incomplete, out of bounds.
Nice pressure in the backfield from the Braves defense. Could not bring down Cromer, but harassed him and rushed his throw.
That was Dan Becker with the pressure. So Cromer's got 32 seconds left here in the quarter. He's in shotgun with a lone back with him. 2 receivers to the right. It's a handoff up the middle, and he's going to be dropped for about a 2-yard gain. So it'll be 3rd and 8. And we're going to see the clock expire here in the 3rd quarter with the Braves leading Mariemont Warriors 14-3. We'd like to thank Grass Corps, one of our fine sponsors here at Tomahawk Stadium.
Tackle on the last play made very securely by Dan Becker. You know, Rob, Dan is actually one of the league leaders in tackles, number 5 in the CHL, starting tonight with 41 tackles, and he's certainly increased that number this evening.
So alumni Teddy Bolzer is on the sideline with the Braves tonight as he's watching the Braves struggle, but are leading the Mariemont Warriors 14-13. So with 12 minutes left in this game, the big difference in the 3rd quarter for both teams is the defenses have decided to step up their game, rush, and put a lot of pressure on the passer, which has caused a little bit of problems for both passers. But at the same turn, Eichholz has gone to his running game and that short screen pass to Werlin.
Once again, we'd like to thank everyone who supported Touchdown for Downs this evening. Nicely organized by the Indian Hill students. Great crowd tonight, both from Indian Hill and Mariemont. Thank you to everyone who supported that effort. But back to football. Mariemont's at about the 49-yard line, takes over. Cromer at quarterback. He drops straight back to pass. He's got pressure up the middle.
And there's a flag on the play. This is going to be on, and Cromer's slow to get up. There's two flags. There's one in.
They may call a late hit there on the quarterback. It'll be a little bit of a judgment call as he was in the process of throwing.
That's one thing I wish we had was replay, Bob.
Well, we'll see what the officials say here.
So both penalties were against the Braves. The first one was declined. It was a holding call against the Braves secondary, and they uphold the roughing the passer call, which will give Mariemont 1st and 10 at the 36-yard line. So that's a big, huge penalty. Instead of being 4th and long, it's going to be 1st and 10 in Braves territory. And this one's coming back. Illegal procedure on Mariemont. I was wondering if they were going to call that. The receiver came in motion, came into the neutral zone and lined up and set. That's an illegal motion and causes Mariemont to lose 5 yards automatically. It'll be 1st and 15 at about the 41-yard line.
Rob, we're seeing the penalties start to build up on both sides tonight. Something we really haven't seen the first 3 games this year.
Well, the head official's a little late on the call. They've already spotted the ball. First and 15, 2 receivers to the right, a lone receiver to the left, back in the backfield with Cromer as it's a handoff to number 10. He's up and he's dropped behind the line of scrimmage for about a 1-yard loss. So we'll be at 3rd and 16.
Credit Dan Becker again with a fine tackle, assisted by Bascom. May have been a slight loss on that play. We'll see what Mariemont has in store for 2nd and 15. Cromer's back with 1 back in the backfield.
3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Cromer rolling out to his right, puts the pass up, and it's a completion at about the 32-yard line. It'll be 3rd and about 6. That's Cromer showing his accuracy again. That was a well-placed ball. It was either going to be an incomplete or a completed pass, but there was no chance for the Braves to break that pass up.
All night long, he has thrown pretty well on the run. But it's 3rd down. He's rolling left. He's got pressure behind him.
And he breaks free of the tackle and rolls. He's got the 1st down. He's brought down at about the 20-yard line.
So far tonight, Cromer has had more success on the ground from the quarterback position. So Mariemont's threatening at approximately the 20-yard line of Indian Hill.
3 receivers to the right, 1 back with Cromer. Cromer's got the ball. He's rolling right. He's looking for his receiver. He puts the pass up, and it's knocked away by
Nick Heidel.
Nick Heidel. Great defensive play by Nick Heidel to make this.
We have a flag on the play that was thrown in the backfield. Well, the penalties are mounting up on both sides. So it is a holding call. So Rob, next week we know that Indian Hill travels to Taylor, and then they come back and we have homecoming.
Yeah.
Homecoming at Indian Hill.
That's a huge, huge penalty. So it's going to be first and about 21 yards. It's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Cromer's running out, and he gets the ball off before he's brought down. And it looks like they're going to call Indian Hill for roughing the passer again. I think that's a bad call on Indian Hill this time.
Well, we missed that one completely from where we're standing watching this one closely. But we'll see how the refs are going to explain that one, especially when he was hit while he was throwing. We'll have to get an explanation on the call here. We saw the flag, but we don't have an explanation from the officials.
Flag is still laying on the ground.
They're calling that against Mariemont. I don't know what that call was about, Rob. You'll have to explain that one to me.
I think that's the Macarena call.
All right. Thank you.
It's another 5-yard penalty, though. Will be 2nd and 26. I forgot to go to signal school this year, Bob.
Back to pass again is Cromer. He's got time. Now he's being flushed out of the pocket. He'll go down.
Dropped for a loss again. So the Braves defense is capitalizing on 2 penalties on Mariemont. They're bringing pressure. Cromer's finding trouble getting the ball out of his hands before the Braves are bringing that pressure. And it's going to be 3rd and 30.
Credit Oaks with the sack on that play. Cromer has taken a beating tonight. He's really been hit a lot. And with 4 quarters in a game, that's going to be a lot of wear and tear. He's rolling to the right, looking for a receiver. He's got a man in the flats. Short gain and taken out of bounds. Tackled nicely by Dawson Eichholz.
So he picks up about 6. It'll be 4th and 31. The ball on about the 41-yard line. So Mariemont's going to try to pin the Braves deep. Idle's going to be deep to receive the ball for the Braves. The punt is off, and it's a short little out of bounds, and they're going to spot this at about the 28-yard line.
Well, ultimately a nice stand by the defense of Indian Hill. Kind of a bizarre series. A lot of penalties. We'll see if Indian Hill can put together some rhythm offensively like when they concluded the first half. Still 14-13.
So an icon on the sideline tried to catch that punt out of bounds. That would be none other than our famous coach and longest standing coach, Larry Eli. Not a receiver, not a running back. He was a lineman, guys.
Reed moves forward for a couple of yards gain. 2nd and 8.
So you have to wonder what Arcuri's going to try to do here. Is he going to try to put points on the board? Is he going to try to burn the clock up? Is he going to go to the running game? He's got Garrick in the backfield with Eichholz. 2 receivers on the short side, 2 split out right. Eichholz keeps it for a second time, and he's up to the 40 before he's brought out at about the 42-yard line. So it's 1st and 10 on 2 runs by Eichholz. as they move the chains for the Braves.
Coach Arcuri had to show some fancy footwork on the sidelines to avoid being hit by his own quarterback.
Braves are going with 3 receivers to the right. Heidel on the short side, lone receiver. Garrick behind Eichholz in the backfield. And it's a handoff to Garrick, who gets 5, 10, breaks a couple tackles, and picks up another first down, as we see why the running game of Eichholz-Garrick is a tough game to stop.
Yeah, Garrick is a deceptive runner. He breaks free and then has that burst and really gains a lot of yardage when you least expect he's going to be able to break free. Garrick has had a lot of key first downs through this season. And another first down for Indian Hill.
Braves going with 3 receivers to the left, 1 receiver to the right. You got Heidel, Shaw, and Ben Werlin on your left side. Eichholz, it's a quick pass to Heidel. It's going to be a completion, but it's going to be right at the line of scrimmage, if not for a little loss. The ball was a little bit underthrown, but Heidel quickly steps into it and gets it. It'll be 2nd and 10. No yardage on that play.
Mariemont was a little bit fortunate. 2 of their own defenders ran into each other, and you know, if that ball had caught Heidel in the numbers, it would have been interesting to see if he had room to run. But we're 2nd and 10.
So you got Dawson Eichholz on the left side with Shaw back in motion to Garrick again. Garrick's brought down after about a gain of 5.
So they're chalking up some chunks of yardage here on the ground, getting some positive yards each time. Brings up 3rd and perhaps 5.
Eichholz, Shaw to the left. Garrick in the backfield. It's a handoff to Garrick again, who quickly gets out to about the 35-yard line. He's going to be short by about 2 yards, so it'll be 4th and 2.
Rob, 4th and 2. You're at the 35-yard line. What is Arcuri going to call here? He looks like he's keeping the offense on the field.
He's got 2 receivers in there. He's got Garrick lined up next to Eichholz. I'm going for the short screen pass to the right.
So they try to draw the defense off sides, and Indian Hill takes a timeout. I like the strategy. They get to see a little look of the defense. We were saying before, Indian Hill will come back a week after next for homecoming. And we'll look to welcome back all sorts of alumni. And actually, it's going to be a band alumni night as well.
Awesome.
Honoring some of our alumni from far away. Speaking of alumni, Rob, you mentioned our own Indian Hill NFL player, Ted Bolser. We congratulate him on his retirement. He's down on the sidelines cheering on the Braves. Fine Indiana Hoosier player and NFL player.
So the Braves are going to go 2 receivers to the left, a tight end. Garrick in the backfield, lined up to the left side of Eichholz. Eichholz takes the snap, quickly keeps it himself. He's got room, and he's not brought down. It takes 4 Mariemont tacklers to bring Eichholz down to the ground as he made contact. He picked up an extra 2 yards and moves the chains for the Braves. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 28-yard line.
Rob, with 4th and short, we've seen several times the quarterback sneak off tackle. It has been successful every time I've seen it run. Braves are using up some clock in this drive, but we've still got a lot of football
Hunter
to play.
Cure in the backfield with Eichholz. It's a handoff to Cure, who's up to the line of scrimmage and picks up about 2 yards before he's brought down. Well, Carey's gone to the old-fashioned smash mouth, run it up the middle football game here, eating up a lot of clock. The Braves have had the ball for 4 minutes now and are easily moving this ball up the field on the ground. Very, very little passing this possession, Bob.
A little bit of a power football game at this point in the game, and it wears on you. These are a lot of kids that are playing both ways, schools of similar size. A lot of kids right now. This is getting deep into the 4th quarter, and they've played a lot of snaps. But right now, Indian Hill's got a commanding drive, up only by 1 point. They seem to be going with a little bit more conservative game plan, keeping it more on the ground, keeping the hands of their trusted quarterback and upperclassmen and seniors. Some fine runs on this drive by Garrick, by Eichholz, and some excellent blocking to gain those 4th down conversion as well.
So when you look at this offense, Bob, the 2 players that we lose next year are Garrick and Heidel. But you got to like who's coming up through the ranks. Everybody else is young. They're juniors or sophomores.
And a great enthusiasm within the program as well, which we love to see. 2nd down for the Braves.
Hunter Cure in the backfield with Eichholz. Heidel to the left. They're running. Eichholz keeps it. Again, he breaks tackles. And it takes this time another 5 Warriors to bring down the big Reed Eichholz, who's just adding yardage after yardage to his already stellar rushing season on top of his stellar passing season.
Well, tonight he just hasn't had the same success through the air as we've been used to seeing. Credit Mariemont's defense with being able to shut that down largely. But here in the 4th quarter, definitely going to the ground with more success.
2 receivers to the right. It's Dawson Eichholz, Ben Werlin. It's about 3rd and 4. Hunter Cure switches to the right side of Eichholz. Snap. It's a handoff. It's to the left side. Hunter Cure is met at the line of scrimmage where he reaches out to get the ball to about the 20-yard line. Looks like we're going to be about 4th and 1.
I think that they're going to give him a yard or 2 on that, but it'll be 4th and 1 or 2 perhaps. Sturwald comes in on offense.
Heidel's back in the game on the left side with Shaw. You gotta like the fact that maybe Mercuri is going to go for the pass here.
That's what it's looking like. Back to throw is Reed. He's going to look to run. He's got enough for the first, and he leads forward inside the 15. I do think that was a called pass play, but Reed saw good coverage and knew he needed to get the first down, and with that awareness that he's shown so many times in these last 4 games, gets the first down, and the clock continues to run as they reset for first down.
You know, what's so amazing about Eichholz is he runs the ball like an old-fashioned fullback. His biggest asset is the number of yards he gets after the contact, Bob. And prior to, that last year, that's what they were trying to use him as, not only as a quarterback, but as a fullback. And this year, having him play the QB position has just really opened up the passing game. That's why you see him with so many passing yards. And when people figure out how to stop the passing game, now he goes to a very potent backfield of himself, Garrick, and Hunter Cure.
Well, credit Mariemont. This is the first team we've seen really give him trouble with the offensive passing game. He's certainly shown some success now in this second half, but really through the air, Mariemont's been the most effective defensively against him.
Yeah. And you got to think that Taylor's going to be watching that film, and next week you're going to see probably a lot of pressure put on Eichholz again early in the game. If there's no success in the passing game, the Braves are going to have to grunt it out on the ground next week. Because Taylor will be the biggest, strongest, most physical team we probably see in the CHL this year.
First down, Indian Hill. Rolling to the right goes Eichholz, looking for some running room. He's got some room. He's down to the end zone. Touchdown, Indian Hill.
As he broke 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tackles to take it for a total of 22 yards into the end zone.
I think Mariemont thought they had him in the backfield, and for all intents and purposes, it looks like he had nowhere to go, but he saw a sliver of daylight with some key blocks. He knifes his way in for the score with 2:31 left in the game. We do have a Warriors player down. Maybe fighting a little bit of a muscle cramp this late in the game. Fatigue mounts, of course. Great respect for the drive that Arcuri has put together with his Braves team in this fourth quarter. That was probably their most impressive drive of the night because it had some gritty, difficult plays, and when it counted most, fourth down and short, they were able to convert.
Yeah.
Mariemont's had the answer against the passing attack tonight.
But the Braves are quickly showing, cover our pass, we'll go to the run. And that's what makes this team so exciting, is that they're, you know, over the last 5 years, they were either a passing team or a running game team. This is the first year the Braves have been able to say, hey, cover our pass, we're going to run the ball on you. Cover our running game, we're going to pass the ball on you.
That's right, and we've seen some new people step up tonight. Ben Worthlin. Of course, Nick Garrick had some key runs in this drive and previously. Hunter Cure and Reed Eichholz.
So the Mariemont player is still down on the field. It appears to be cramps, like you said, Bob.
Dr. Spreen is going to help get him well, and hopefully he'll be fine.
So what's amazing is Ben Worlin appears in this game to be the receiver that will replace Heidel next year.
That's exactly right. Well, we hope number 9's going to be okay. He's played an incredible game tonight. Excellent, excellent game. Fatigue mounts this late in the game for a two-way player who plays both offense and defense. So for the extra point, Mr. Everything, Nick Heidel will be back to kick. Snap is down, the kick is up, and the signal is good. So a 21-13 lead for Indian Hill, but there's 2 minutes and 31 seconds left in the game, and Mariemont has not finished yet.
You know, Nick's a senior this year, and he's one of the leaders of this team. You got to wonder what his stats are going to be at the end of this year. You know, as a receiver, he puts up points. As a kicker for the last 4 years, he puts up points. He's got to be one of the leading career scorers for Indian Hill football in recent history.
You're probably right about that, and as we said earlier, he leads the CHL coming into tonight with 324 yards, followed only by Dawson Eichholz at 278 yards, and then followed by Colin Shaw at 264 yards. So look at those numbers and then compare that with tonight, with the hallmark of the Indian Hill offense being the running game. Once again, we really give a lot of credit to the offensive line, who has really stood tall during this game. This last drive, the offense broke some excellent holes for the runners. So we'll see what kind of a kick they're going to set forth here with 2.5 minutes left in the game. Heidel lets it go. It's Deep down the middle. Be taken at the 10-yard line by Mariemont. Slowed down, looking for daylight down the sideline.
He's got daylight. He's up to the 35-40 before he's brought down. Great return by the Mariemont.
Tackled by Adam Sichel.
So with 2:31 left here, Mariemont has the ball.
Looks like Indian Hill's going too deep, preventing the big gainer. Back to pass is Cromer, facing some pressure, looking for the screen. He's got a man to the left flat.
That's Jurovic, who brings it up the field, and looks like he's going to be spotted just shy of the first down.
Clock stops, and it's second down for the Warriors.
Jurovic's wide to the right. Three receivers left for Mariemont.
Little press coverage with Heidel on him. He's found a man in
Another
the flat.
screen. They've got the first down and out of bounds to stop the clock with 2:16 left here. Mariemont's coming up the field quickly. The Braves defense is going to have to go back to their guts and play this offense a little tighter than they are. I mean, Mariemont's moved the ball very effectively on the short game tonight, Bob. Hasn't been their long game. It's been all in the short flats.
They certainly have. Once again, rolling to the right, facing pressure. He's got a man. He's taken down inbounds. Tackled by Dawson. Clock is running. Once again, we're facing a little cramping issue from Mariemont.
Well, like you said earlier, Bob, both these schools are similar in size, and you have players that play 90 to 95% of every down because they play both ways. They play special teams. You know, Nick Heidel, I think if you go back and look at his career at Indian Hill, there's probably no more than 10 or 15 plays a season that he's on the sideline.
I think if he could play in the marching band, he'd be in the marching band too.
I think he'd be a good tuba player.
Well, I hate to see it, but Mariemont's having a difficult time with number 9, who's been a big part of both offense and defense tonight.
You know, tonight's weather has been perfect. It's a nice crisp fall night here at Tomahawk Stadium. You don't expect to see cramping too often, but it does happen.
Cramping's a multifactorial issue. It's not just fluids. It's a lot of conditioning, muscle fatigue, genetics. This time in the year, whether it's hot, cold, we'll see a lot of that because of conditioning. Unfortunately, number 9's had a very active night, and I hate to see him not able to participate in the last couple of minutes, but Warriors have the ball, 2nd and 8.
Minute 58 in the game.
And the clock was running on that last play before the injury timeout.
Receiver in motion to the left side. He's scrambling and he's brought down hard.
Intercepted.
And intercepted by the Braves defense. Cromer's hurt on this play.
Well, I want to tell you, Rob, on that play, Demetrius Baylor would not be denied. He just shed his blocker and chased down Cromer from behind. And it was the harassment from Demetrius that really set off that pass and made an easy interception for the Braves defensive secondary. Cromer didn't see him coming, but he was hot in pursuit. So excellent play by Baylor.
And Cromer gets up under his own power and leaves the field. That's always good to see.
Played his heart out tonight. And
So if you're Arcuri, do you keep it on the ground or do you bring the passing game back? You're winning this game 21-13 with 1:43 left in the fourth quarter. It has not been a stellar game for your offense at all.
Well, Rob, I think Mariemont, with the timeouts they've expired already, they only have one timeout left, so I think that they'll keep it on the ground.
Eichholz keeps it. He breaks tackles. He's bringing it back across the field, breaks another tackle. He's got 5 guys on him before he's brought down after about a 28-yard gain.
Now, I think Reed's going to have to come out of the game with a helmet. But Mariemont only has one timeout left, and at this point, I think they can pretty much ride this on the ground. Eichholz is going to come out for a play, I believe.
So they're going to take the penalty here. They're going to take the delay of game to get Eichholz back on the field.
No, they're going to call a timeout, actually, it looks like.
And they do.
We'll have to see if that rule allows him to come back in after the timeout. That may be the strategy. We'll see what happens. I don't know the rule on that, Rob, but suffice it to say, I think Indian Hill is going to be content to keep the ball securely in the hands of their playmakers. 1:05 left in this contest. Excellent ball game. Excellent play by Mariemont. Quarterback Cromer. Some fine kicking. And we've also had some strong fourth quarter play by Indian Hill as well.
So I'm going to make a prediction here in the fourth game. If Eichholz stays healthy, continues to play the way he's played through 4 games, he will have over 3,000 yards this year, Bob. I think he's going to be 1,500 yards in rushing and probably close to 2,200 in passing.
But I'll tell you, every game we see another young Indian Hill player step up and provide a spark. And I'd say it's fair to say tonight, Ben Worthland really made a name for himself.
He did. He's a receiver that other teams are going to have to be watching. So now not only do you have Eichholz in his triple threat, but you got Eichholz with 4 receivers he can go to. Garrick in the backfield. Hunter Cure in the backfield. This team is getting stronger every game. Yes, we started this game very slow, and we didn't do a good job of moving the ball offensively. But like you said, Ben came up big tonight. He
really did. He had some of the highlights of the evening, and he had the spectacular catch earlier. I think the Indian Hill Braves are going to just sort of kneel and let the clock run down here. I want to take a moment and thank everybody up in the booth with us, the fine Indian Hill students working with IHTN Network. Dennis Dupps.
We'd like to thank Mr. Dupps, Justin Berg as director, John Osterhaus as graphics. Our camera operators are Kyle McSorley, Easton Phillips, Bradley Winker, Luke Hammond, Aiden McDunn, Austin Geyer. I'm Rob Young with Bob Rhodes here in the booth, and a special thanks that makes all this possible, Mr. Steve Ginn. So we have 23.5 seconds. Mariemont used their last timeout to stop the clock.
Exclusive coverage of tonight's game on the Indian Hill Television Network has been a copyrighted presentation of the Indian Hill High School Video Department.